Hi, this is Mr. Schmidt. I am here to help you learn how to create a chart using data in a spreadsheet in Google Documents, Google Spreadsheets. The first thing that you need to do is you need to decide what format you want your chart to be in. That's going to dictate the way that your data is put together. So you'll see right here I have some information on the cookie shop. I have a column right here with years, and then I talked about revenue, expenses, and profit or loss, if they made money or lost money. This is the way that I would look at things with a chart, with a bar chart. So when I create this bar chart, there's going to be 3 separate columns depending on the way that I do this. Or I could have 9 different columns. But depending on the way that I select this, I'm going to have a different way that this chart is going to look. So the bar chart is good for comparing different quantities based on where your data is coming from. Here I'm going to be comparing years with this information. If I would go to this one and I'm looking at a pie chart, you'll notice that this data is formatted a little bit differently. If I'm going to use a pie chart for something, that is going to be a percentage of a whole. So I have all of the revenue from sales in 2012 for the cookie shop. And these are the amounts that are going to be represented here. When I put this pie chart together, then I'm going to have each of these items as a percent of the whole. So I want to show for the whole data set that I'm working with how much of each of these items are used for that chart. Finally then, I have a line chart. What a line chart is really good for is for showing how things change over time. So if you're going to be working with something, if your data shows change over time, then a line chart is going to be the most appropriate way to do that. So depending on the kind of information that you want to show, that's going to dictate what kind of, how you format everything in your spreadsheet. This is a really important process though. If you put a lot of time into formatting your data and making sure that it's set up the way that you want it to be set up, then it's going to make it a lot easier to create a chart. So let's start with our bar chart. I am going to first of all take a look at my data right here, and I'm actually going to select the things that I want to have in my chart. So you see I selected all of my set, including the headers at the top here. What I'm going to do then is I'm going to go here into Insert, and then I'm going to click on Chart. Now when I do that, you'll see that it brings up this kind of a wizard right here. Notice it says use row 1 as headers. That's what I want. And then I can use column B as labels, and you'll see that everything looks pretty sweet. I've got 2003, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5 right here. That's what I want. And this brought up by default a line chart. I don't want a line chart though. I want a bar chart. So I'm going to do this one right here and do columns. Now you'll see that I've got my total revenues shown in blue, my total expenses right here, and my profit or loss shown right here. So I've got all of that kind of ready to go, and you can see very easily that this is the way that it looks. Now if you look over here, you'll see it says left vertical axis title, horizontal axis title. I can customize all of those by clicking on the Customize button, and this is going to be the same no matter what. So right here I have the title of my chart. If I go in there and I say Income Summary, now you'll see that that changes right up here. And I can control all of those other things in this left-hand side right here. Now you'll see it says horizontal axis title right here. If I change that to year and I click off of that, you'll notice that it changes to year right here. And if I want to change this vertical axis, I'm just going to switch this to left vertical, and now I have the option here of changing that. So I am going to say in dollars, and now you'll see that here's dollars and here's year, and all of that has been changed. Now when I'm all set and I'm ready to go with this, then I'm good to go. I click on Insert, and now here's my chart, and it's all ready to go. I have my chart, I have my data, everything looks just peachy keen. Now, if you need to make a change on something in here, like let's say I misspelled something on this, then you actually change it in your spreadsheet. So right here, if I just want to change this, I don't want total expenses, I just want the word expenses. If I click on it there, you'll notice that it updates in my chart. So if I want to update these things right over here, then I need to change them in my spreadsheet. If I want to change my numbers or the way that my graph looks down here, I can change my numbers right here, and that will reflect in my chart automatically right away whenever you make that change. Okay, so that's a bar chart. Let's take a look at a pie chart now. Same kind of process. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to select all of these, and I've got my I grabbed my title in there too. I'm going to click on insert, and I'm going to insert a chart, and you'll notice that it once again brings up this kind of a graph. I could use a bar chart for something like this, and that would be perfectly acceptable, but I want to make it a pie chart. So if I go like this, you'll notice here is my pie chart. Here's how everything looks, and I want to customize that once again. I'm going to change my chart title to the cookie shop, and you'll see that this is well, let's do revenue. So you'll see here that my chart shows up as percents. I've got all of this stuff in there. If that looks the way that I want it to look and I'm good to go, then I'm going to go here and I'm going to click insert. And now you'll see that here is my pie chart. It looks nice and fancy. And you'll notice that it converted everything to percent for me right away. You can change that option if you'd like, and then it'll show actual amounts rather than just percentages. But like I said, it depends on your objective. If you want to show the percent of the whole, then this is the way that you want to do it. So select a pie chart for that. Finally, a line chart is going to show us changes over time. So I have my information inputted right here. I have my average precipitation in millimeters. That's what all of these are. I've got January, April, July, and October in Acapulco and Amsterdam. So I'm going to select my data set once again, go up here to Insert and Chart, and this brings, once again, I could do a bar chart, but I want to do a line chart this time, so I'm going to click on Line Chart, and you'll notice that it kind of messed up my data. You see I've got Acapulco and Amsterdam right down here. I don't want to do that. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to switch the rows and columns. And if I do that, you'll see that here's my Acapulco, here's my Amsterdam, and my data goes right here. So you'll see Acapulco is the blue line, and Amsterdam is the red line, and that's going to show my data right here in the chart. Once again, I go to Customize, change my chart title to Average Precipitation, and I go down here and I can change my axis. So the title of my horizontal axis is months. I don't really need to do anything with that, but if I want to change my left vertical, maybe I want to say monthly precipitation in millimeters. And then I click on Insert, and bingo, bango, jango, my chart is in there and ready to go. So you will save yourself a whole lot of time if you make sure that your data is formatted correctly before you try and put it into your chart. Feel free to experiment and try to manipulate your data up here in the way that it's formatted to make it look the way that you want in your chart. If you have any difficulty or any questions, I'm sure that your teacher will try to help you out as best he or she can.